Hey guys, what's going on? It's CrapGamerReviews here, and today I thought we'd go into the comment section of my very favourite YouTuber. His name is CrapGamerReviews. He's a console fanboy. Back in 2018, or I can't remember, I think it might have been last year actually, he just randomly switched from Xbox to PlayStation. I'll give you some context. I'll flash one of his thumbnails up on the screen. Now, I'll link a video in the description. It was a guy called Griffin Gaming, has done a couple of videos on him now, and he went over everything I was going to say and more. So I'm not going to waste my time saying what's already been said. So I thought we'd have some fun, and we'd go in and we'd check out some of the comments of enraged fanboys, because obviously, with a fanboy YouTuber, it's just going to be a total salt mine in the comments. It's friggin' hilarious. You guys are going to love it. I'm going to love it, and we're all going to have a good time. But without further ado, let's get into the first comment. Seems to me that Microsoft have cut a lot of corners when it comes to Series X and S. No thought went into any of the designs. They didn't put any care into it, just threw a bunch of hardware in a ugly box, and just the fact it's being held back by Xbox One is a joke. So, I really want to stress, games aren't really being held back by previous gen hardware. It's the same with the PS4 and the PS4 and the PS5, how they're doing a lot of sort of cross-generation compatibility. It's not really changing. You can still make a game better on the... You could still cut content, really. So if you have content that doesn't really work for your previous gen console, you just don't include that and you replace it with something else that will work with your current gen console hardware whilst developing a game for next gen, and then all of those experiences sort of, go on to the next gen version of the game rather than the previous gen version of the game. Obviously, you're going to get a better experience playing on the newer gen version of the game, but you're still going to have a fun time, and I'm really a fan of what these companies are doing by, saying that all of our major exclusives are going to be playable on the Xbox One and the PS4 for several years to come. It's good and it's pro-consumer. However, I will say that Sony have been very hypocritical in attacking Microsoft over this when they ended up doing the exact same thing. So, moving on to our next comment. Xbox Series X is a good toaster. Just put a slice of bread on top of it, and it will literally toast in seconds. So, this guy is referring to, or I'm assuming he's referring to, the article that was posted by Game Rant. I'll flash it up on screen if you guys want to see it. And basically, it was talking about the fact that the Xbox Series X is running hot. It was a report out of France from someone that got a review unit. It's interesting. I'm not sure whether he was really referring to it either like running super hot or if it was just emitting heat and it was warmer than you'd expect. But it's needless to say, it's not nearly as big of a deal as these fanboys are trying to make it out to be, unless the console is bricking itself when it comes out. In which case, you will have a problem. We don't want any more red rings of death, guys. I think we all want to avoid that. But I'm going to move away from this. We're going to move on to the next comment. The bane of your existence, 30 FPS looks like shit on PC. More modern console games look smooth at 30 because they are optimized for it, unlike PC. I hate it when people try to push this argument that for some weird reason, 30 FPS is different on console. The only reason I think anyone could possibly think that is because on console, they utilize motion blur to sort of give the illusion that it's smoother, even though it really doesn't, and motion blur looks like shit. So, this guy, no idea what he's talking about, friggin', frames per second is universal across every platform. There is no difference. But we're going to move on to the next comment. I can already feel my friggin' brain cells dying. The bane of your existence. If all you care about is FPS, you should buy the Series X. You'll get 4K 60 easily. PlayStation struggles to reach 30 FPS. Okay, so this notion that we're going to get 4K 60 on these new consoles is ridiculous. It's not going to get anywhere near that. 4K 30, and then there'll probably be, optional performance modes on games for, 1440p 60, 1080, 120 hopefully. You never know. But it's ridiculous, this notion. And there's also this notion that these consoles are on the level of a 2080 Ti just because they've got the same amount of T-flops. It's really stupid, and so many gaming news channels trying to jump on this and say that these new consoles are the most powerful ever, and then the narrative runs down and these people believe it, and it's really frustrating It's not frustrating per se. It's going to be hilarious because in November, when these new consoles come out, it's going to be so funny seeing all of these fanboys who had set these massive expectations. You know, who were saying that all games is 4K 60. It's a new standard in gaming. It's going to be a salt mine. It's hilarious. I'm pretty excited actually, but it's frustrating that people believe this. So we're going to move on to the next comment, guys. I really don't want to stick on this one. Game Pass couldn't compete with the quality of PS Plus collection. Okay, look, it's completely subjective. If you love the games on PS Plus, that's fine, because I know that there are definitely good games on there, but it can't compete with friggin' Game Pass. You get EA Access, xCloud, which is like their portable streaming service. It's really cool. It's such a good deal for like, I think it's $20 Australian, or it's like 15 or something. I don't have it. I'm too broke. But for the time being, it's so much better than PS Plus, and I really hope that PlayStation ups their game, because you need competition in a field like this. It's important. Otherwise, you have monopolies, and monopolies are never good. Trust me, guys. We've learned that from the past. Anyway, moving on to the next comment. PS5 is a weak console. Demon Souls, 4K 30 FPS, 1440p 60 FPS. PS5 is more close to the Series X than the Series X. Oh, jeez. These comments are so hard to read. Like, the grammar's ridiculous. Anyway, look, the PS5 is, like, the Series S and the PS5 aren't even in the same league. You can't really compare a PS5 to a Series S. It is definitely more close. It's closer to a Series X than an S. It's an incredibly powerful console. Obviously, the Series X is still the most powerful, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the PS5 is really powerful. Like, it's a great console. They look awesome on paper, but people like this make it so hard for, fanboys and people on PC to just admit that, these new consoles are really impressive. Moving on to the next comment. PS5 is gonna kill it. And somebody replies, yeah, it's gonna kill gamers with overpriced games. And then our original commenter comes back and says, you get what you pay for, and PS5 will have the best games, not those watered-down Xbox games. Okay, so we're back sort of on the same point. People seem to think that Xbox and also PlayStation games are going to get held back by being on the previous generation, when there's really not going to be much of a difference, guys. It's not that big of a deal. But if just to go off and have a conversation about a different topic that was also mentioned in this comment, $70 USD games is ridiculous. That's like, that'd be, that is 97 Australian dollars. That's ridiculous for a game that you're probably going to play for like 10 hours. It's stupid. I'm not sure if Xbox are doing the same thing. They might be, I'm not sure. But it's going to be a big edge if Xbox aren't, because, like, geez, $70 for a game, that's going to be the difference between, like, everyone having it and no one having it. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next comment. That section was a bit clunky. Sorry about that, guys. Last comment of the day. I'm not a Bethesda fan. Said no real gamer ever. Okay, I just wanted to touch on this because there was the acquisition recently, and people have gotten really salty over it because basically all the PlayStation fanboys have come out and said that they don't care about Bethesda games, and then all the Xbox fanboys have come out and said that, oh, you have to have Bethesda games. Guys, just make your own choices. Don't listen to whatever these fanboys are saying. Have a great rest of the day. I'm gonna leave it here. This will never get a sequel. Anyway, talk to you later, guys. Bye.